This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, welcome to Selenium Java training. Today, we're going to talk about the how to get started with Selenium with Java and what things are required to get started. Before that, we should know about what is Selenium WebDriver, how it works. So a little bit understanding. If we get, it will be easier for us to understand the concepts going forward. Okay, so the first thing is what is Selenium WebDriver? I think we should be able to define if we talk about the Selenium WebDriver. So Selenium WebDriver, you can say as a tool or a library which drives a browser, okay, as a human being interact with the web applications, okay. So uh, in simple words, if I write drives browser uh, as a human being, okay, so it interacts with the like whatever the command we say, like perform this, okay. So Selenium WebDriver will interact, so we'll talk about how it interacts with the browser to perform. Suppose you said okay, click here, so it will click on the web application. So a WebDriver doesn't know anything about test, okay. We have to write our scripts and tell like you have to perform this action, and then Selenium will uh, internally it will drive the browser the way we want, the way we have written in our scripts. All right. Gauri, if you can go on mute, please. Thank you. All right. So let us say about like what are the different WebDriver components we have. Okay. First, let us understand this point. Okay. So when we talk about the WebDriver components, how it works, so there are different browser driver. Okay, so what are the browser driver? Let me talk about the first components. Browser driver we have, then we have language bindings. Okay, and then we have our component hmm, browser. Okay, so we'll not talk about. There is another component which called Selenium Server, which generally we don't require if we work locally. Okay, so we'll talk about this, what it is and why when we require. So let us talk about the browser driver. So browser drivers which manipulates browser directly. Okay, so in between of our scripts there is a browser driver. Okay, so you might have heard, or if you don't know, there is a Chrome driver to interact with the Google Chrome. There is a geckodriver which interacts with the Firefox. So each browser has their drivers, okay, and these drivers are released by the company who has developed that browser. Okay, so for Google has released Chrome driver, Mozilla organization foundation has released this Gecko driver. In the similar way, Apple Safari, they have this Safari driver. Okay, and then Internet Explorer driver we have. So each company, they have developed one driver because they only know how browser internally works. Okay, so we require this browser as well, so that when I have written my code in a Java, suppose, so this through this Chrome driver, because it knows how to manipulate Google Chrome, I will send this my commands to Google Chrome, and this Google this Chrome driver will interact with the Google Chrome browser. So we cannot use this Google Chrome driver with a Firefox or with the Safari, because Chrome driver doesn't know implementation how the Firefox works or Internet Explorer work. Okay, So that's why for each specific browser, we require specific browser drivers. Okay. All right. So, okay, let's talk about the another component, that is language bindings. Okay. So, what are the language bindings? So, commonly we say language binding is a WebDriver. Okay. So, commonly referred as WebDriver. Okay. So, what it can consist? Okay, it consists uh, in which language you want to write this script. Okay, so suppose you have to work with Java, so you need a WebDriver language binding that supports Java. Okay, if you want to work with a C# or Python or any different language, you need that particular language bindings. So from where we get these language bindings? Either we can go get it from the Selenium website, we can go and download, or there is a repository from where also we can download it. Okay, so officially there are different available, means officially available language bindings are uh, officially supported language bindings: Java, C#, Python, Ruby, JavaScript. Okay, so these are some officially available. There are some more maybe available which is not officially, but they have how somehow they have managed to work with. So that's why we say like WebDriver supports multiple language, because these language bindings actually is written in different language, like uh, Java, okay, so C# or Python. Okay, we have available different bindings, language bindings, and that's why we say like WebDriver support multiple language. Okay, that's the one benefit we have with the Selenium WebDriver, that it supports various languages, and whatever you feel comfortable, or your team or your organization, you can go with that particular language. Okay, then we have a Selenium server. So Selenium server actually uh, is a component that manage running the WebDriver instance on a remote machine. So if you have to run your test uh, on remote machine, okay, then you require this Selenium server. If you are running locally on your laptop or your system or desktop, you don't need this component. Okay, so but just remember, like a Selenium server, there's a component. When you have to run your test on different remote machines, you require Selenium server. Okay, so let us talk about like with a diagram how it works. Now we know the different components what we have for the Selenium WebDriver. Okay, all right. So here, if we talk about this will download language binding. So I will say LB. Okay, and using language bindings, I will I will write my code. Okay, I will say perform this action. Okay, go to this application. Okay, go to google.com, click Gmail, login. So all those I will write in the language bindings, right? Then we have a driver, okay, which we talked here. Okay, so this language bindings talk with this driver, and driver understand like what the action you want to perform on the browser. So if say go to, so it will open the browser, it will go to that particular website. Or if you want to click somewhere, or if you want to enter text into the text field, suppose the login email ID or user password, those you will write here and send the command to the driver. So driver understand, okay, what you are asking me to do, and here we have browser. Okay, Then this driver will send command to the particular browser. So in our case, suppose we are using Chrome driver, it will interact with the Chrome browser. Okay. Now this driver will send command. Okay, you have to click on this link, or you have to enter this text into the text field, or whatever the components you have on the web application. So this way, how this language bindings work with the uh, web browser. Okay, any question till here?
No, Manoj. We're good.
No, I'm good.
No, Manoj.
Okay, okay, all right. Let's proceed further. So now we know about components, how it works. So what are the requirements to start with? If you want to start with working with the Selenium WebDriver, so suppose you have chosen language Java. So I want to work with a Java, Selenium with Java. So let us talk about a few basic requirements. Okay, so it needs, like, suppose you are working on a Windows operating system like Windows 10 or any other version. So on those versions, you need, I'm not talking about the system requirement. So it supports Windows 10, Windows 7 also. And if you are using Mac OS, it also supports Mac. Okay. So apart from the system requirement about your like laptop or desktop, you require a JDK. Okay. So this is called Java Development Kit. Okay. And then you require JRE. Okay, Java runtime environment. Okay, and apart from this, you need a code editor. So code, suppose there are multiple code editors are available, you can use. So most common is Eclipse. We can use Eclipse, or there is a intelliJ. Okay, you can that one also you can use. So I have already installed, downloaded this Eclipse, so I will use that. Okay, apart from this, as we talked about, we need a Selenium WebDriver, right? And uh, about the unit test frameworks. Okay, so suppose we Selenium alone doesn't know about your testing thing. Okay, so Selenium doesn't know like what is a test case, what is a framework. Okay, we have to design our framework or our scripts, test scripts, in such a way that Selenium follow our actions, whatever we want to say. So suppose I mean, like we write like login to the application. Okay, so it means user ID, password, click on this link, and then do this, then do this. So this we have to tell to the Selenium WebDriver. Okay, Selenium WebDriver doesn't know itself like what is test, right? So there are different framework available, like unit test framework, and we will utilize in writing in our test. Okay, so we'll talk later in coming sessions. Okay, so like what is unit test framework? Like TestNG is the most popular, which a lot of features. Then there is a unit test framework that is, and there is JUnit. Okay, so mostly we use TestNG or JUnit. So we will use TestNG. So these are unit test framework. So there's a very a common mistake what people do, okay, when they go for the interviews. So if I ask like, okay, which framework you have worked, they will say TestNG. Test TestNG is a unit test framework. It's not a test automation framework. Okay, so that should be clear. You should never say like I have if someone asks, okay, tell me about your automation framework, test automation framework. So you should talk about how you designed your framework. Like there is a page object model, there are different design patterns available to design your framework. Okay, so you never say like I have used TestNG. I have heard multiple times in my whenever I take interviews. So yeah, so these are unit test framework. In very short time we'll see uh, what is the requirement of these tests. Okay, so TestNG or Junit, why this is required. Okay, so these are some system means basic requirements we should have. So if you, so how to get all those? I think this JDK, JRE, all these we can get it from the Oracle website. Okay, IntelliJ, there is a Eclipse.org website. From there we can install, sorry, download, and there's an official Selenium WebDriver. Okay, we can download the jar files and include, or we can include. mm, okay, so this is Oracle website from where you can go and click the like if we, it is first you need to check like if it is on your laptop Java is installed or not. Okay, so there's a basic command you can in the command prompt just to check, like if you say just open command prompt and type Java version, and if you get some version number, it means Java is installed on your machine. Okay, so that you don't require, but just check the which Java version installed. So suppose on my machine it is 1.8. Okay, JDK is installed. So this way you will get the Java version. If it is installed, then you don't need this JDK. Otherwise, you need to install. And from the same place, from the Oracle website, you can install the JRE if it is not there. Then you can go for the Eclipse. Okay, you can search Eclipse download. You can download the Eclipse, and this doesn't require the latest version. It is a exe that you can download and install. Otherwise, generally Eclipse we get the zip folder that we can extract and directly we can use. All right, but these two will not download. Okay, I will in this very short time I will say why will not download from anywhere else. Another thing I think that is missed is Maven. Okay, Maven is a build tool. Just for now, just know this is a build tool. So if you download any latest version of Eclipse, that by default comes in package with the Eclipse. So separately, we don't have to install this Maven. Okay, all right. So there is a website called Maven Repository. Okay, and we will utilize all our things required like a WebDriver, TestNG, all this will download from this Maven repository, not manually but through Maven. Okay, so let us go and create a simple test. Okay, so if I have opened Eclipse, it will look like this, and then I can go to file, and then if you mouse over here you see Java projects and all, click project. Okay, and then you will get a different options here. So we need a Maven project. Okay, so click Maven, and I will use this latest folder which I created for today, this folder as a default workspace location where my project will be saved. Okay, and I check this create simple project, and I can provide like suppose com group ID says like com and demo artifact ID, and just click finish. A Maven project got created for me. Okay, and all the okay, so all the folder structure you see here, that is created by Maven for us. When you create a Maven project, you will see this folder structure. A few things which is showing here like chromedriver. Actually, I kept in the same folder. That's why it is showing. Otherwise, it will not show here. So as we talked, you need to download this chromedriver from the Google website. So you type like download chromedriver, okay, it will give you link, and then you have to download on your system, unzip and place it where your project is. Okay, that's we have to do. So once you created this project, okay, let's go to the POM file and let us understand. When you create a Maven project, okay, it gives you this pom.xml file, which help us to manage our project dependencies. So what does it mean by project dependencies? Suppose because till now I haven't downloaded any Selenium WebDriver, right? I haven't downloaded TestNG, okay, which are very much required for this uh, project. So this Maven POM file help us to manage dependencies, and if I provide the in this XML file, if I provide the some information about Selenium WebDriver, TestNG, or any other jar file I require, okay, for this project, it will download from this Maven repository, what we are seeing here. Okay, all right. So before that, let me. Okay, so before that, we need one more thing. We need to tell this like. Uh, you see here, I went to this Apache Maven project website, and we need like we have to tell what kind of compiler it should look for. Okay, so let us copy this. So this is for the Java version which is installed on your laptop. Okay, so copy this, and first thing what I see here, I need Java 1.8, but here we see 1.5 is here. So let me change it to latest one. Okay, you can right click on the properties, you can go to the Java build path, okay, and I can edit this one and select the latest, okay, Java 1.8. So if you create it this way, this is coming because maybe on my system there are multiple JDK versions have been installed, like JDK 1.5, 1.8. So by default it picks. So if you want to use the latest one, so if it is not coming by default, you go and through the build path you can change it here. Okay, so that I selected and apply, and okay, so now we see Java 1.8, right? That's fine. So another thing what we're talking about, this source and compiler, because Maven require this, okay, on because Maven is a build tool, so we need to tell like which specific Java version you should look for compiling my project, right? So that I will copy, and inside this POM file I will paste it. Okay, maybe I can copy this all, that's better, or we can type also manually if we want, right? So that we said like use this specific version of Java. Okay, and this is one time job, don't worry, it is not required every time. Okay, once we uh, have this, I can save, and you see here at the bottom it starts building my workspace. Okay, so you will see some more workspace building thing. What it does when we add some properties here, like properties or dependencies, so it will, what it does, it downloads from the Maven repository server to my local system. So that what this Maven does and this pom.xml does for us. So that's how we manage dependencies. Okay, so let us, for this project we require mm, Selenium WebDriver. So let us go to this Maven repository and search here Selenium. Okay, so suppose I typed Selenium and I require Java, right? So I need to go the Selenium Java one. Okay, I click, then it will show you the different versions here. Okay, there are some latest latest Selenium WebDriver versions available. So better to always use the stable version. So this is the last stable version. The new release WebDriver 4 already released in the market. So if someone wants to play around it, you can get and play. But the for the projects, I think always better to get the stable versions. So click on this 3.141.59 and you see scroll down to Maven and copy these dependencies. Okay, let me copy this. Go back to my Eclipse POM file, and I need to under this dependencies. Okay, I need to paste here. Okay, now let me save, and then you will see you see here building workspace started, and this folder already generated for me. And if I expand here, you will see all the Selenium Java component already came here. Okay, I don't need to go and download this jar specifically for this my project. Maven does for me. Okay, so that's how it manages the dependencies. Okay, another thing required is TestNG. TestNG, if there is a website called testng.org which manage uh, all means where you can get the documentation or different things. Okay, so this is a unit test framework, okay, which we are going to utilize, right? And let's go to again Maven repository and search for this and TestNG. Okay, I got TestNG. I will click on this. I will go this. This is the latest stable version. Okay, I can click here and copy these dependencies. Go to my Maven file, POM file, and paste it here inside this and save. It start downloading quickly as you save. So it will add all these dependencies here. Okay, so if I now expand this, you may see the TestNG files. Where are these? Yeah, here. And suppose if you in future if you want to change some versions, Selenium version or WebDriver version or TestNG version, just change the version here. It will download the latest version from the Maven repository to your local system, and it keep as a binary format on your system. Okay, so you see how it is good to manage. We don't need to download every time going from some Selenium website or any other website, TestNG, download all this. Maven does for it. Okay. So any question we have till now?
Uh, like if you download the Eclipse, like we'll get this Maven project by selecting.
Yes. Yes. So latest Eclipse versions already include the Maven, okay, with Eclipse. So once you download it, Maven will come automatically with integrated with the Eclipse code editor. So you don't need to separately install Maven. Okay.
Okay, okay, Manoj. Yeah.
All right. So let us. We have already means whatever basic requirement we did, like uh, Selenium dependencies and TestNG. Okay. Another thing, what I think I will just write, but I will not talk about this because we need to tell this. There is some goals defined for the Maven. Okay, uh, when we uh, compile this program, okay, so it asks like what the default goal for us. Okay, so when we cover Maven in details, that point I will talk more about it. But here I want to say build. Okay, so how it Maven should build this. Okay, so there is a default and default goal. Okay, and the default goal I want to say Maven just install. Okay, that's it what I have to say here. And let us go to um, uh, the creating a script, one script for us. All right, so let us see like how we manage our project. So you see here all these src main Java. So there we keep like our code framework related things, like whatever the framework we create, and all the tests will go under the test Java. Okay, so let us add a package first. So suppose I give name what I can give. Suppose a smoke test or any package name you can just provide. Package is kind of which manage, which organize things, which differentiate from one package to another, so that you can differentiate and you can manage in a better way. Under this, if I click and add a class, okay, and I can add a simple test. So this is key. Remember this: whenever you write a test, Maven, test, okay, always add after the class name, add some test. Okay, so that is what Maven looks for, like which are the files which I have to run as a test. Okay, let us create this. Now we got this one. Let us start writing a very simple script. Okay, so for this I will use this application. Let me close few things. This the internet, and this sample application we have available, which is open to use, and we have a different components. Okay, like this website is good for practice as well. Okay, so how we interact with the different elements, which we'll talk later. But for now, suppose I want to navigate to this website, and I want to suppose click on this form authentication. Okay, and I have to type username, password and all, and then I have to click login, right? So this the task I have to perform. So suppose a login test I go and create, and it says like this is the username and this is the password we should use. Okay, so let us go and uh, write a program. Okay, so I would say let us start with the TestNG format, how we write in TestNG, right? Create a method, okay, public void. So suppose uh, I want to create a setup project which set up the uh, which start instantiate the WebDriver and open the browser and say like navigate to this URL. Okay, so that I will say in the setup. All right. So before creating instance of WebDriver, instances means we'll talk about all these things. Don't get scared if you are hearing this terminology like instances and class and object. Okay, we'll talk in detail. So first we need to tell the system path of this chromedriver exe. Okay, so system set property. Okay, and here we need to provide, okay, the in this given format WebDriver dot chrome dot driver. Okay, and then here we need to provide where the exe is. Okay, so I have kept exe here, right? And if you see the all the folder structure already Maven created for us, we don't need to create anything, right? Let us copy the uh, path of this. Okay, in if you in Java, if you want to use any specific path, so you need to provide double backward slash or one forward slash, that you need to remember. And then that exe name chromedriver.exe. Okay, So first thing, you need to set this property, otherwise your WebDriver will not work. You need to tell like where this WebDriver is. Okay. Now I want to create a WebDriver instance. Okay, so I can write this way, WebDriver. Okay, this is a variable name I can, or instance name I can give anything like driver, my driver, whatever you want, and then new chromedriver. You see this red lines under this. If you mouse over it, it says like there is a problem and how to resolve, because we already have all these jar files in my project, so I can import. So whenever you need some library, you need to import in the class. Once you import, you will see this error is removed. Same way, I need to import this chromedriver as well. Okay. Another way, I think better if we define this way, like private WebDriver, so that this driver instance is available to all the methods, okay, in this class. So now this way also I can write, and that's a better way to write, right? And using the TestNG, so where is the role of TestNG? Here the role of the TestNG comes. There are different annotations, okay? I don't know if I have closed. So there are different annotations. So here, like, okay, one second, annotations. So you see here annotations. We have before suite, after suite, before test, and all. So all these are provided, and the explanation. When we, depending on our situation, you can use these annotations. And this TestNG annotation tell like this method what it should do. Okay. So if it is a test, you need to define with annotation test. Okay. So this one I want to run uh, before every test. Okay, so let's say now how to give the annotation at the rate, and then uh, before method. Okay, mouse over on this and import this, right? All right, now let us write a login method. uh, Method means I'm saying suppose you want to write a test script which uh, does login, right? So create a public void and login. Okay, and you have to, for all the test scripts, you have to say like this is a test, so that TestNG should know this is a test. So to do that, you need annotations called test. Okay, again mouse over and import this, and all these are coming because of already we have downloaded through Maven dependencies, right? Otherwise you will not get these options to import. Okay, so using this driver, if you mouse over on it, you will see different WebDriver methods or commands, you can say. Okay, so let us see. You see find element, get, everything you see here, right? In the setup method, like I want to say like driver navigate to this. So to navigate, we use driver dot get, and you see here that if you mouse over, it expect a string URL, and it says description, it says like load a new web page in a current browser window. So it will launch a Chrome browser for me. It will, and this get will navigate to this particular URL. Okay, let me go and copy this URL, not the login one. I can go here. Let me copy it and go back and provide here. Okay, so in the setup itself, I'm saying, okay, launch the browser and then navigate to here. Okay, once it is navigated, suppose I want to click form authentication. So how to identify elements? That's a different, I think, sessions we need to take, like how we identify elements. So to identify, right click, okay, and you see here either inspect, right click and inspect, or you can click and if you mouse over on any element, it will give the source code of that. Okay, so suppose I want form authentication. So if I click this arrow and mouse over on it, so this gives me the locator of this. So there are different tags. So a tags denotes it is a link. This is HTML. This is nothing related to Java or C# or WebDriver. This is pure HTML thing. On this browser, a denotes as this is a link. Okay, a tag. So suppose there is some kind of locators strategy, we'll discuss on it, but for now just say like I want to click on this link by using this text. Okay, so driver dot find element and find, then if I do find by, I will get like different methods, like how you want to identify this. So suppose I got link text, okay, and I can provide the link text here, whatever I copied, and I can say dot click on it. Okay, so at the end, okay, this what it says by link text driver dot find element.
You given by dot by link text.
Right,
I think by dot
right,
link text.
link text, right, and this one, correct, and then I can say which method I want to utilize. Why 1 second, this extra comma I have, that's why it is giving. Now it says like what the operation I want to perform on this element. So I want to click on this. Okay, once it is clicked, then let us click on this form authentication, and I will navigate it to this page, and there we have two text boxes. So again, I can mouse over and click here. So it says uh, there are some properties available to identify this element. So by default, if ID is available, go for it. So let us copy the ID, and again driver dot find element dot ID. Okay, and I can provide here ID, and then to type something we say send keys. Okay, so send keys, it will type here, and if you scroll up, here is the password, user ID and password already given, that Tom Smith. Let me copy this. For normal application, you need to provide whatever the user ID and password you have. Okay, and the similar manner for the other. So let me check what is the locator we have for this one. So the right click and inspect password. Let me copy the ID password dot ID, and okay, again send keys. Let me copy the password from here. Password already provided for this demo website. Okay, this will type there, and then I want to click on this login button. Okay, so for the login button, you see here we don't have any specific thing. Okay, so for this I need to use XPath. XPath is a locator strategy what we use to locate elements on the browser. Okay, so if I how we write XPath, we can talk in detail, but for now I want to start with the double forward slashes, then the tag. Okay, and then the any specific attribute like here type, and then I can say submit. Okay, So if you see here, it is uniquely identified on this page. You see 1, right? So let's copy this and go here and driver dot find element by this time XPath, because there was no ID name provided. So I used XPath and dot click, right? What should it does after the test ends? Okay, so I can say like public void cleanup, okay, something setup and cleanup. And here I can say close the browser, driver.quit and close, both are available. We'll see the differences. But just for now, I want to just close the browser here. And the annotation is after method. Okay, let us import this. Right. So what this TestNG is doing here, it is organizing my test, saying like before this test, before this login method, launch the browser and navigate to this application and then perform this test. One test is done. After the test is finishes, close the driver. So that's what test engine helping us to manage our test, okay, the way we want. So we are ready to go for the run. Okay, so right click on this Maven POM file and go to run as, suppose, Maven test. Okay, so it will start the browser. We are getting some error, and it says like some default Google compiler 131. Okay, so some goals we need to change here, team. That's related to, not related to your the script the way we wrote, but the goal whatever we specified, that we need to change. Okay, so let me right click this way and let's see if I can manage to run. If it is goal issue Maven, so we need to correct in the Maven POM file. So it is launched the Chrome browser, it navigated to this, it went to this and typed here and closes the browser, right? And here we see like login, test pass, and default test and all the report we got here. Okay, so that's how we set up and write our simple test. Okay, now you can ask me any question if you have.
No, Manoj.
All right, so that's for today, the demo, the setup part. Okay,
Okay.
let me